Okay, so just for fun, watch this. I'm actually going to switch a corporation for just a minute. Let me close Windows. I got tons of windows open here. I'm going to come back here where I was mainly working. Okay, this is one that has a little custom interface. Let's see here. Let's go to. Okay, I'm just kind of trying to think real quick. Okay, here's our little. Okay, so my home page. Basically, this one, I'm just going to switch out of here. Let me find one that has one specifically. Okay, I'm just trying to. Okay, here's one called the Mixing Bowl. This is a kitchen needs store, and the home page for this particular one is a small little retail dashboard.
Oh, there you go. So only what they use.
So basically, they clock in and out. They may or may not change.
So did you do that for them, or did they kind of tell you what they wanted?
This particular one was actually designed by a guy back east, and then we've used it at multiple spots. So this is kind of a generic version of this. Watch this. Like, this is kind of hacking the system. But watch this. If I go LIMITED limited, and I hit enter, it's just a totally different little interface. Okay. So, like, you can technically, there's tons of them, but if people don't even know that they exist, then you may not even know that they're there. Okay. Let me show you one other, see if I can switch to another corporation and show you what it might have under it. Okay, so here's a medical marijuana one, just to kind of show you, like, to give you an idea. This is called the dispensary homepage. This has a totally different, they often search for patients. They often want to refresh the page. And this is a miniature queue that's already built in. And then they have just a couple small buttons. Okay.
Schedule?
What the queue is it actually says who's in, what's going on, you know, what's happening, et cetera, et cetera.
So in the doctor's dental office, that would be wow.
Correct. So
why do you have a refresh page button when your browser has it?
Because
okay, so it's just quick, bam, bam,
they've got
bam.
multiple people working on the scheduling of that 25.
Well, the queue, what comes in is somebody comes in through the door, and the way that their industry is set up is they have to have paperwork, and they have to show that they have a card, and all this
But
kind of
they
stuff.
probably refresh not regularly,
Yep.
because they got people entering patient and who's coming in the door and when
They have people doing
when they arrive.
They have people doing who's coming in, who's serving, who's doing this, who's next in line. Like it's literally like they call it a clinic.
So they could track minutes that the people were
Oh yeah.
in session, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So it's not for the users then, it's just
No,
for the...
that's-
Okay, so let me do one more thing just to show you another custom homepage. Okay, if you actually have, say you're in operations and you want to do some of this kind, they have all sorts of little custom homepages just for them that are designed that have special. Look at this little page. Okay, this is custom just for their little thing. It's almost like a little dashboard. What do I have going on today? Like all this kind of stuff. Okay, so you can build any of these little custom pieces if you needed to. It's just a simple little thing. Hey, what do I have for my patient logs? Boom, go right to my favorites. Show me what buttons I have. Okay, I'm going to view and copy others. Okay, who has them? Let's see here if I can view this. This is my favorite buttons. We haven't even seen this, but this is a custom interface all in and of itself. Okay.
So you can build that one for them.
Oh no. We said you want to build 160 buttons? We'll build the tool, and you knock yourself out and have fun. And let me go back just one step here, and I'm going to actually just say view as my own. And I just want to show you what they have. Here's grids. Here's different grids. Here's all sorts of different little things. So they have, this is just to kind of give you an idea. If I click on this is going to open up a grid with multi-buttons that I can basically say, here's all their different names. These are pre-programmed hybrid things, and what's their prices, and what's their, yeah, well, like, this is just kind of how they particularly did it.
Errors.
Correct. So they could even put quantities in here and go like this, and then, or they could modify things, you know, like they could, it's kind of, a lot of these people actually use touchscreen interfaces, okay? So instead of mouse, they're clicking a button, or they're going to sit here, then they'll type something, then they'll click up, or they'll use digital scales.
That really helped to see those.
That
really helped.
That's just kind of some ideas of different things that are custom.
That really helped. I mean, visually, I mean, I could
Yeah,
I said,
I think it's good to
I
see
don't generate
examples.
idea
So they
pictures.
must be using Windows 8, huh?
I think it's really good to see
Touchscreen.
examples.
Oh, you know what? All you have to do is buy a touchscreen monitor, and you can use Adilas touchscreen right this second. Okay.
Without a.
So imagine a monitor that's this big. They have these beautiful monitors. Atlas looks awesome on it. They're scrolling up and down, they're clicking, and they'll just type whatever they need to do. For like, say they needed to enter a search, they'll literally go like this. They'll touch right here, and they'll type in Joe or whatever. Then they'll touch here, and then they'll select patient, and then they'll go, and it basically does a little search. Joe, Joel, Joey. You know, I think that I need to get off this page just for,
We're
just
not reading.
yeah. So anyway, just want to get off that for just a minute. Let me just click on that. I clicked on it, it didn't go. But anyway, I just wanted to show you that like they'll use touchscreen right now. They'll use iPads. They'll use PCs. They'll
So
use.
what you did shows up on their history of that company, right?
I haven't done a thing. All I've done is just browse. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I have not left my footprint. If I go to the users, you'll see me as one of the users.
Oh.
And if I actually interact, I will leave a footprint in that corporation. But if I just touch, I haven't really submitted anything. Okay. And so at this point, it's technically like window shopping. Okay. But I just wanted to kind of give you an
Thank
idea.
you. I mean, that's neat to see how their logo comes in, their colors, those buttons. That's amazing.
Sure. Well, it's just a very simple interface, and then
It
this
is
one right
simple,
here.
But it's hard to imagine.
Yeah.
You're just talking about it.
Yeah.
That's good.
So we can literally organize things in whichever level we want to, and it just kind of depends on what's going
Neat.
on.
Absolutely. And
Okay.
they may not know exactly what they want up front.
Here, let me just see if there's another one in this one. I think that Steve is actually doing some of these custom backends. Here's a CRM homepage and a vehicle salesperson homepage. Let's just check it out. Okay, super simple, okay? Do I want to clock in and out? What are my quotes? What's my time? Go right to the loan calculator. Do I want to search my trucks, my SUVs, my autos? Okay, here's my autos. Like, this is their homepage if they actually had that chosen. And then what are my sales this month, et cetera, et cetera. Like, so it's very custom. These are very simple, but it kind of gives you an idea of how you can kind of. But if this was all you had to deal with, you wouldn't be overwhelmed. You'd be totally like, oh, sweet, cool. And once you're into that, then you may want some of the functionality that's on part of those
But this
pieces.
takes care of the majority of your workers.
So what we did is it's called the chooser, okay? You get 3 by default. Anything that's special, guess what? We add it from the universe level and say, oh, that world is special. They're a desert world. Let's give them a desert interface, okay? Oh, that world is a swamp, okay? Let's give them a cool little liquidy world and they're going to be happy with it. So we control that on there. Same with
So
e-commerce.
if it's already built, then you just allow them to use it.
Yeah, some of if
But
we,
if it's not built and they want something
if we
specific,
want something custom, we say, you know what? We charge $100 an hour. Why don't you draw it up exactly what you want? We'll wire it up.
And you
And
guys,
usually it can be $100, $200, and you got a custom interface.
and you guys can wire it up. You could just, like I said, on the other guy, build the buttons and they can have a techie type person
Correct.
finalize it, right?
Yep. I was just trying to see if I had any other ones that had some interesting little possible things. Not necessarily. I'll just kind of. These are not even just all the corporations. These are ones that I'm kind of assigned to. Like, say they call me and they want me to do tech support, and I'll say, hey, is it okay if I assign myself to your corporation? And they'll call and be like, hey, I'm looking at invoice number 1370 or something like that. Can you go there? Yep, just a second. So I'll switch to their corporation, and I'll pull up invoice 1370. Oh yeah, okay. Scroll down. Do you see where it says this? What does it say on the top of your page? Like, we can talk them through any of these pieces just by doing that type of an interface. So, anyway, just Adilas has a bunch that we loaded in, like just to kind of give you an idea. Watch this. If I hit chooser, deposit homepage, payables homepage, you know, reoccurring invoicing homepage, CRM mobile, a retail, like we're just playing, but like we can add in as many as we want to. Say we wanted to go something like this, reoccurring homepage. So this is invoices, okay? Click. Okay, this is just a small little date range or
What
whatever.
if that's all someone need it. I mean, when you talk about job descriptions and job duties, could you tie something from chooser to one of your users so that it automatically came out by default?
So yeah, what we do is we call it custom home pages. Okay, so this is on the user. This is on the user. So watch this. I'm currently inside of Adilas. If I hit chooser, say I wanted mine to be.
Oh, set as default.
Yep. Basically, we put that on the user level.
Sorry.
Okay. No. It's great. You can actually do that right inside of the Logan Playground. Let's actually
Right, but
switch.
it's the same thing, so I could have, a company could have multiples to customize for the tasks that people do, and they can just.
Correct. So the goal here is imagine a carpenter who's going to go do a job. They don't want to bring the whole shed and the whole workbench and the whole thing, but if they know a certain thing and we created a little custom interface for that, I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to be over here and I'm going to be able to work fast and simple. And if I need something, I know to go back to the shed to get it.
See, that is to me what you have just described in the last 15 minutes is a huge selling item to a business, is to say, this is it, you have tasks, this person could see this screen, this person could see that screen. But that's all you're talking about, that customization out front, just simplifying and making it more visually simple for
Yep.
people so they don't get overwhelmed. That's amazing.
Correct.
Back
So
to financials.
I know we go all over the place, right? Okay, so we're back home. We turned on a ton of permissions. The reason that we even bounced to some of the interfaces was dealing with that. If you want to do it, it's through the chooser. You get 3 by default. If you need more, all you need to do is ask, and we can help you out there, okay? And you can literally just set it as your default, and then anytime you hit home, that's your new homepage. When I log in, it would automatically take me right to my homepage. If I had multiple tasks that I did, I could potentially have multiple interfaces and just be like, oh, today I'm dealing with deposits. Oh, tomorrow I'm just sales. Oh, today I'm doing back-end cleanup stuff, okay? Yes,
So
Mark.
when you set up a company,
Uh-huh.
a client, a customer, do you do the paperwork? You draw it out. You draw it out first, sketch it out on paper first, and then what?
I would start with your head, then you go to paper and pencil, and then you actually start recording it digitally, and then you figure out where you're going to go from there, okay? Like, you don't just say, boom, go, because, like, you can imagine how lost you would get if I just said, here's a brand new world, we're going to jump you off right in the middle of the Amazon, and by the way, watch out for piranhas. You know,
I
like,
think you probably want to find out what part of their current environment is driving them the most crazy.
Okay,
and
correct.
introduce that part too.
when you go to the doctor, does he say, hey, how are your fingernails? And how are your toenails? And how's this? He's like, okay, what are we seeing you for today? Right down here deep, I've got this raspy thing. Perfect. You know, you just told me where I'm going. And so that's what you do with a new customer. And they may not want to use all the
You
pieces.
just show them you take your laptop and show them, okay, this is what we did.
I could do it on the phone, on a demo. I could use GoToMeeting. I could just show up and be like, you know what, conceptually, I think that what you need is probably this, this, and this. And they're like, oh my goodness, that would help me out tremendously.
See, and
Tell you what, I'm going to work up a demo and I'll show you.
our trick is to play and work up demos for different industries so we can see all the pieces together. And then as you chat with somebody, it's less stressful because you go, well, I see that you fit in this type of a category. Let me show you something that I've got, not exactly what you need, but yeah.
Yep. It just kind of helps you once you
When you
realize,
go to
oh,
meeting things, then they can actually look at it on their monitor.
I've done that.
Do that with your group.
Yep, I've done that with my uncles and all sorts of stuff like that. I'll call them up on a phone call. We might even be on a conference call. There's multiple people on the conference call. So I'm sitting in my room and saying, okay, let me show you this. I know you guys are interested in the e-commerce portion. Watch, I'm going to change. I'm going to go add a little piece inside here. I'm going to add a photo. And now I'm going to make sure to turn it on so from my world, it's out to my moon where somebody else can see it outside of my secured environment here. Okay. So basically on the moon, then I say, watch this. I'm going to change the URL, and I'm going to show you exactly where it's available outside of the internet. Okay. And you can do that, and it's great because you can show them the different pieces. Oh my goodness, yes, I totally want my web page is terrible. You know, I paid $2,000 for it, and all it has is a couple little links on it. I would love to have real-time inventory and real-time photos. heck, I can even order and sell and me. Like that's where we're headed with it. It's not all done yet. Like I hope you can see a lot of things that are kind of like under construction, but we're heading in some great directions.
This is, and we're just being really selfish here, but since we're the ones here.
Great.
This is
Great.
Sorry,
Shannon,
Shannon.
I'm sorry.
No, that's what I'm here for as well. I'm here for you guys. So this is great.
So excellent. Those were just things that I was mulling over last
Okay.
night, some of those questions, so that's good.
Okay, perfect. Now you wanted some definitions and some ideas. Why don't you tell me what you would like to know first, or give me a scenario, and I'll show you how it tracks. Because when you start saying, I'm going to do this for just a quick second.
Financials, I know it's huge.
Okay, and Mark, I'm going to use this yellow marker. Can you see where the marker is, even if you can't see the yellow?
I can see the marker.
Okay, great. What I'm going to do is give me a scenario. I'm going to show you how it would flow. Okay, just to even talk through the theory of it, because like if you just jump in, you literally are in the Amazon and you can't see anything
I
around
would
you.
like you to pretend that you have this simplistic business that you're stepping into, and they show me how you would set them up via that invoice.
Okay.
That
So the goal, and we're going to write this down really quick, but basically on the P&L,
is
say
like
we,
a pretend setup.
What's that?
Company, a pretend setup so that we can start then using Adilas for their financial.
okay, so the first thing you want to do, if you immediately start saying, financial, I'm going to highly recommend that you do this. Get the operation running, okay? Don't even worry about the financials. Like, how much training did we do for the last 2 days, and we've just been playing with invoices and POs, and how do we make things happen? That's where you get it started. If you go right to financials, you're going to kill it. You're going to kill it. And the reason I say that is you just basically said, by the way, now we're in the Amazon, watch out for these, this. There are some tribal people you got to watch out for. And by the way, watch out for this. There's mudslides
So
here.
you
Like,
get all their operational stuff.
so what we do is we do a simple little, I might even, let me do this. I'm going to switch out of my marker, see if I have a little graphic, but it may help you out.
So, I mean, we're assuming that they're set up and running, but that someday they say, can we start using this instead of QuickBooks? Can we start accessing this instead of our?
Well, we're gonna be dealing with people who are already running.
Oh yeah, there's multiple different ways.
And we want to actually port it over.
Okay, so you can do it, and what you want to do is, once again, don't get that cart in front of the horse. You can help lead them, like, okay, we're going to need this, we're going to need this. Before anybody even does balance sheet stuff, how's your inventory? Because that's an automatic, okay? How's your expenses and deposits? If they're totally screwed up, don't even go to the balance sheet, okay? Because guess what? These are automatic. These are automatic feed-in. And so if you're trying to like account for something that's an automatic feed-in that's screw up, don't even play that, okay? There are some YouTube videos Steve's done. All the pieces are there, but you can't just say, boom. Like, that's very common what you would do in QuickBooks. Well, heck, let's go set up every chart of account I could possibly need, okay?
And
now I'm gonna,
because this is the feeding scenario.
okay, it is a feed scenario. You have to think cart and horse, okay? If you say,
And you don't need to do it like you do in QuickBooks.
you don't. You do not need to do that, okay? You do not need to.